Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
When a franchise finally stops whispering about ambition and starts speaking in numbers so loud they echo across the league, the entire baseball world has no choice but to listen. The Toronto Blue Jays have just revealed their full 2026 payroll, and what it uncovers is not reckless spending or flashy bravado, but something far more unsettling for their rivals. This is championship architecture laid bare, steel beams exposed, blueprints rolled out on the table for everyone to see. And once you truly understand what these numbers are saying, it becomes impossible to look at the American League East the same way again. Hello Jays Nation, and welcome back to Jays Quick News, your trusted home for everything Toronto Blue Jays, where ambition meets analysis and hype gets separated from hard truth. If you enjoy content that doesn't just skim the surface but dives straight into the engine room of this franchise, take a second to like the video, share it with another Jays fan, and subscribe so you're locked in for everything that's coming, because this story is only gaining momentum. The headline is simple, but the implications are enormous. Toronto's projected 2026 payroll sits at approximately $279 million, with luxury tax calculations hovering just over $280 million. Numbers like that don't merely place you among contenders. They redraw the balance of power. For the first time in a generation, the Blue Jays are outspending the New York Yankees, who sit around $263 million, and they're leaving Boston trailing far behind at roughly $191 million. This isn't a blip. This is a philosophical shift, and it should make the rest of the division profoundly uncomfortable. But raw payroll figures only tell part of the story. What truly matters is how that money has been spent, and this winter, Toronto committed a staggering $337 million in guaranteed money across 4 signings that didn't just patch holes, but reshaped the identity of the roster. Dylan Cease headlines the revolution with a 7-year, $210 million deal, the kind of ace-level investment that doesn't just stabilize a rotation, but gives it a spine. Cease isn't a luxury. He's a declaration that Toronto intends to dictate games from the first pitch. Around him, the supporting cast reveals the precision of this plan. Cody Ponce arrives on a 3-year, $30 million deal, not as a gamble, but as a calculated depth play. Tyler Rogers is locked in for 3 years and $37 million, a move that looks almost understated until you examine what he represents. Then comes Kazuma Okamoto, 4 years, $60 million, a signing that adds weight and menace to a lineup that already knows how to hurt you. This is not reactive spending. This is a front office that learned from watching the Dodgers celebrate on their own field and decided that moment would never repeat itself. Now zoom out, and the numbers become almost surreal. Toronto's winter spending spree alone, roughly $177 million from just 3 major signings, is more than 3.5 times Tampa Bay's entire projected 2026 payroll. Baltimore, a rising team in its own right, sits at around $147 million. Tampa Bay barely scrapes together $78 million. This isn't simply a competitive edge. It's a structural advantage, the kind that forces other front offices into uncomfortable conversations about relevance and survival. Context matters here, because this is not a desperate franchise throwing money at uncertainty. The Blue Jays won the American League East in 2025 for the first time since 2015, then tore through October with the confidence of a team that knew it belonged, falling just 2 outs short of a World Series title in a brutal Game 7 loss to the Dodgers. Miguel Rojas tying the game in the 9th, Will Smith delivering the final blow in the 11th, those moments didn't scar this organization. They forged it. The front office didn't see a ceiling. They saw a foundation begging to be built upon. Tyler Rogers' contract is the perfect example of how cold, calculated, and ruthless this blueprint truly is. 3 years and $37 million for a reliever might raise eyebrows in some markets, but the numbers behind Rogers tell a different story. He led all of Major League Baseball with 81 appearances last season while posting a microscopic 1.98 ERA. That's not just durability. That's trustworthiness. In a division where September games feel like playoff contests and bullpen meltdowns decide seasons, Rogers isn't a risk. He's insurance. He's the quiet assassin who turns tension into routine outs. This is where Toronto separates itself from the illusion of big spending and steps into the reality of intelligent spending. They're not chasing upside and hoping for miracles. They're buying certainty. They're purchasing October reliability. And that philosophy runs through every major decision they've made this winter. Historically, the Blue Jays have never been afraid to spend when the window cracked open, but what we're witnessing now is something different in tone and timing. The 2015 and 2016 teams were bolstered by reactive moves, additions made to plug leaks as they appeared. This version of the Blue Jays is proactive to the core. Dylan Cease wasn't just the best pitcher available. He was the answer to a looming question about the rotation's future with Kevin Gausman and Shane Bieber approaching potential free agency. Okamoto wasn't just a power bat. He was a strategic weapon designed to ensure opposing pitchers never get a moment to breathe. Looking ahead, the intrigue only deepens. Spring training becomes a proving ground. Can Cease dominate at the Rogers Center the way his contract demands? Does Okamoto's prodigious power translate cleanly against elite American League East pitching? Can this roster, now carrying the weight of expectation and investment, stay healthy across the unforgiving grind of 162 games? These aren't concerns born of doubt. They're questions born of scale. Projection models suggest that if this core performs anywhere near expectation, Toronto isn't merely defending a division title. They're setting the tempo for the entire American League. The Yankees will respond, because they always do. Boston will attempt to reload. Baltimore will continue to rise. But right now, every conversation begins and ends with Toronto, and that alone speaks volumes. There's a deeper truth here that separates champions from pretenders. Spending big doesn't guarantee rings, but it absolutely guarantees opportunity. Toronto has constructed the deepest roster in the division, arguably the most flexible lineup in the league, and a bullpen designed to suffocate close games. This is how championships are built, not with hope, but with layers. Whether this results in a World Series parade down Yonge Street or becomes a cautionary tale depends on execution between the lines. But make no mistake, the Blue Jays have done everything an organization possibly can to tilt the odds in their favor. They've stopped pretending. They've started dominating. So let me ask you, Jays Nation, does this record-breaking payroll make you more confident than ever that Toronto's championship window is wide open? Or does the sheer financial weight of these commitments make you nervous about what comes next? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. And if you want every twist of this historic season covered from start to finish, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The 2026 season is shaping up to be unforgettable, and we'll be right here for every single moment.